Right, welcome to today's Regulatory Processes Committee meeting. Please note the meeting is being live streamed, and before we go any further, we stand for our Karakia. Right. Whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia maki.
E hi ake a tahukura.
Thank you. Please let either me or Sean know if you intend to leave the meeting early. Morning tea will be at 10:30 or sooner if we're finished before then. And I expect that we will be. Right, we have an apology from Mayor Foster. I move that we accept this apology. Seconder, please. Councillor Condi. Thank you. This really is speak of the devil. The devil you know.
Your apology, will it be for early departure?
Order. Yes, it will be probably. But
Right, okay, well,
we'll see how long it takes.
moving on. I call on members to declare. We're doing that, right, an official apology for early departure from the Mayor, assuming he needs to depart before we're finished. Seconded for that, Councillor Condi, thank you. Right, please vote accordingly. We're all happy with that. Call on members to declare any conflicts of interest they may have in relation to any item on the agenda. Okay. Confirmation of minutes. I move that we approve the minutes of the Regulatory Processes Committee meeting held on the 12th of August 2020. They be taken as read and confirmed as an accurate record of that meeting. Thank you, Councillor Matthews, for seconding that. Please vote accordingly. Thank you, Councillor O'Neill. Right, that is carried. There are no items not on the agenda, and we have no public participants at this morning's meeting. Therefore, straight into general business. Item 2.1, the proposed road stopping. Oh, sorry, we'd like to invite Sarah Jane Still to the table. So the proposed road stopping of land adjoining 117 Seatoun Heights Road, Miramar. Do we have any questions of Sarah Jane?
Sarah
Councillor
Jane,
Free.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to confirm, have we received any feedback at all, adverse feedback at all from any member of the public on this one?
Yeah, so we've had a couple concerns, mostly regarding the front yard setback. One property across the road at 112 has sort of mentioned their concerns. Looking at their property, though, they already exceed the site coverage limit of 35%, so they would be required to get a resource consent if they wanted to do any more building work, regardless of the road stopping going ahead. So if they want to make an actual formal objection later on in the process, we can discuss that with them, but it's not really a consideration we take into account for the road stopping itself. And we've received one from an adjoining owner, which I have not had in writing, so I don't know the full extent of their concerns. I've asked for that, but they haven't sent it through. So I assume we'll get it later on if we go to the public notice.
So you don't necessarily see any of these as providing a roadblock, so to speak. I mean, they're not like there's not likely to be anything come of them necessarily, or in your opinion?
We can never know for sure. We've obviously, I don't think ever taken a front yard setback objection report to regs before. But usually we can talk through them with the homeowners and the objectors and try to reach sort of a happy medium with everyone. Yeah.
Do you have a question, Your Worship?
Just a quick question. Thanks. There was a substantial housing subdivision development in the near vicinity somewhere. I can't remember what the address was. Is that right?
I'm not actually sure. I haven't looked into it.
Okay. Obviously not close enough. Looking at the aerial, it doesn't look as though it was close enough, because I know that there was a lot of controversy over the density around that particular development and its impact on streets. So I just wondered if that was in anybody's minds, but it doesn't sound like it.
No, I mean, so Transport just looks at it from a transport perspective on whether or not they're happy to sell it, and Resource haven't come back with anything.
Yeah,
or
no,
the district
well, I remember there were transport objections to that particular development. The planner decided against the transport objections. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
like
thanks.
I said, I'm not aware of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, thank you for that. Here we have the owners of 117 Seatoun Heights Road in Miramar, who have applied to purchase approximately 87 square metres of unformed legal road land adjoining their property. So we are simply giving approval for officers to proceed to the next step in the process. I move that we do that. Seconder, please. Councillor Wolfe. Is there any debate? Okay, I put the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote. Thank you. Moving on to item 2.2 on the agenda, the proposed road stopping of land adjoining 24 Cave Road in Houghton Bay. Any questions on this one? Deputy Mayor Free.
Well, I guess the same question. Have we received any, concerns from the public on this proposal?
Yeah, so this one is actually Paul Davidson's road stopping. I'm just here in his place as he's on annual leave. But I believe there has been one, and it is a similar concern to the resource consent issue that I had with 117 Seatoun Heights. And again, they would need a resource consent regardless of the stopping going ahead.
Your Worship.
Look, just following up on that, I mean, obviously that is the resource consent that's required under the current district plan. The district plan will be subject to review. Do you know anything about the reason that we've got that setback rule? I think it was about, the apparent width of legal road, and if the legal road's narrow, then you push into the neighbouring or the opposite property, I should say. What was the thinking behind that in your mind?
You'd probably have to talk to the district plan team. I believe we are one of the only councils in New Zealand to have such a district plan rule, and I think it's mostly due to the topography, because Wellington's quite hilly, as you all know, and so actually getting a 20-metre wide road, which is standard, is difficult in some places. So you've sort of got that setback. Should improvements need to be made, like you've got to put a footpath in, you've got to allow for parking, you need to be able to sort of have that space where you could potentially buy land from people in order to do that. So you can't have a house right up at the boundary if you're going to need to buy the land from them.
But you would have thought that, and obviously we've got Transport well represented at the back there, you would have thought that if there were any thought that was ever going to be a possibility, that they will be saying don't sell the council's existing land.
So it would be sort of, yeah, I honestly don't know. It's been in place a lot longer than I've been here.
It's been in place a long time, but
yeah.
With it, I'm looking at the transport team. If you had any thought that you wanted to widen a physical road or to use the space for some reason or other, I'm presuming that you would then raise an objection to the stopping of a piece of road. You wouldn't say, well, we'll allow the stopping of a piece of road on the left-hand side, and then with a possible thought that we then want to go and buy land on the right-hand side. It would be kind of unusual. Correct? Yeah, and I would have thought the chances that we widen a road like Cave Road are probably fairly slim. Yeah. Thank you.
So would you mind coming to the microphone, John, please? Just...
by the district plan team, and Ian Leary takes the credit for that one. So if you really wanted to find out the rationale behind it, I think he's the best person.
We have a question from Councillor O'Neill.
Apologies, sorry, just lost the tab. He pātai taku. My question is around when we have a conversation with people around land, looking at both of these images, both examples don't seem to have very many trees, but is there an opportunity where our roading teams and our transport teams could be having conversations around backyard taonga projects, and maybe like, yes, you can have this land, did you also know that it has this value to biodiversity in a particular area, or working in with that other council project?
So before we come to committee, we actually go through various other teams. So we go to transport, urban design, parks, and they all provide comments and conditions. So parks can often not support a road stopping, and in that case we wouldn't bring it unless we have full support of council.
That's interesting, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just for your information, councillors, at the very end of each report on these road stopping issues, there is supporting information, and I must admit I overlooked the fact that there is set out there engagement and consultation. It does talk about the responses we have had from neighbours, and there is information about that. And again, I was corresponding with Sarah Jane yesterday and had that clarified for me, so that is actually there along with the Treaty of Waitangi considerations, financial implications, etc. So it is on that page towards the end of the report. Okay, thank you very much for that. And here we have the owners of 24 Cave Road, Houghton Bay, applying to purchase approximately 133 square metres of unformed legal road land adjoining their property. I move that we accept recommendations in the officer's report. Seconder, please, Your Worship. Thank you. Is there any debate? Deputy Mayor Free.
Yes, look, I accept that it's when I'm trying to read things online, it's actually quite tricky. It's not even downloading at the moment. So I accept I might have asked a question which I should have been able to see from the report. But generally speaking, I'm in favour of where people have got a encroachment licence, that if we can sell them the land, that's maybe not such a bad thing. So no, I'm in favour of the two. You know, obviously we won't vote on one, but I'm in favour of this one as well.
Thank you. I move the motion. It's been moved and seconded. Please vote. Thank you. Carried unanimously. Right. Moving on to item 2.3 on the agenda, proposed road closures. I'd like to invite officers Jackie yeah, and her surname I was struggling with. Right. Didn't want to call her Jackie Sean. Right, and Sean Woodcock. So any questions for officers on the proposed road closures? Councillor Condi.
He pātai taku. Just asking about the Whenua Ukaipo Wā Kōrero road closure. Is that a new road closure, or is that something that's been done in the past?
Because I just got the impression from when they came and spoke to us that it was the first time they've done this event, but in the report it said that all of these had been done previously, so I was just a bit confused. So that Whenua Ukaipo is a new event, but the others have all been done before.
Yes.
Yes, this is great.
Okay, I'm assuming there are no other questions. Deputy Mayor Free?
Look, in the past, I've been upset by some of those events at the basin and the mess that's been left on our canal reserve part of the town belt. I guess it's got better. So I guess my question is just how is this event going to be monitored so that there's not, that the canal reserve isn't turned into mud and it doesn't look like an utter mess while the event's taking place?
So after the event, the cleaning team go in and they're supposed to clean up all the, just check that they've picked up after themselves. So there is part of roading that go in there.
About the way it was managed with stalls all over the canal reserve and just people treading all over the grass. So I presume that there'll be some kind of supervision as to how the event's going to be conducted in terms of how the reserve space is going to be used.
I think we'll have to talk to the event organiser on that one to make sure that's done properly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, this committee has the authority to approve road closure requests under Schedule 10, Clause 11E of the Local Government Acts 1974 and the Transport, Vehicular, Traffic, Road Closure Regulations 1965. We have requests from the organisers of 4 different events for temporary road closures in October, November, February, and one ongoing one, the night market on Saturdays from November through to May. There have been no objections to any of these, and I am comfortable moving the officer's recommendations in regard to all 4. Seconder for the motion, Councillor Condi. Do you wish to speak?
Just quickly to say that I think the Whenua Ukaipo event looks really exciting. I think we were all pretty excited when they came and spoke to us. And so it's great that we're able to give a little bit of space in that and closing the street outside in Stout Street to create some space for more dialogue and an event. I'm excited to see how that one goes ahead. So thanks for your work on that.
Thank you.
Okay, any debate? There being no debate, the motion has been moved and seconded. Please vote. That has been carried. Thank you. Moving on to item 2.4 on the agenda, traffic resolutions. We have 6 traffic resolutions to approve, or otherwise I'll hand over to Councillor Condi at this point to take us through these, and we welcome officers to the table.
Should we take questions first before I speak to the motion? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Charles Kingsford and Soontech.
Morning.
Welcome. All right. Question from Councillor Matthews.
Okay. I just have a question because of traffic resolutions that come up to us about mobility parks, and because I forward the ones we had, and this one seems to be absolutely fine, but I did forward it to Raywin Hales from CCS, and I'm wondering if we do that as a matter of course. I don't believe we do, and if we could do that when we have traffic resolutions around mobility parks, because they have a special interest and expertise in the scheme and, have given us some quite detailed and helpful feedback.
Yes. Right. Okay. Question from Deputy Mayor Free? No. Oh, right. Your finger's in the air. Right.
Thank you. Yeah, not too many this week and all fairly straightforward. Not too much opposition to most of these and you know, we've had a lot of people, particularly in the northern one, asking us for more broken yellow lines and that's something that the staff are going to be looking into. I think, you know, these are all, you know, like I said, fairly straightforward. I think the mobility park relocation is, as you said, perfectly fine. I think, you know, we were talking about the possibilities of when we return those, when those construction is over, whether we might be able to keep some extra mobility parks in that space rather than returning them all to metered parking. So that's something that I think that there were a number of councillors who would be interested in that going forward. If we can look at the implications of that when the construction is completed, that would be great. Always good to put more mobility parks into the CBD where we do not have enough. Otherwise, I don't think I've got anything else to say. As I said, lots of delightful broken yellow lines to be painting on our streets.
Right. So moved by Councillor Condy, seconded by Councillor Matthews. So please vote. Right, again, carried unanimously. Thank you, officers.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for all your hard work which goes into these. Well, that's every officer in the room. It's appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks.
Right, let us stand to say the closing Karakia.
Nuhia.
Nihia, ki te uru tapanui. Kia wātia, kia mama, te nākau, te tinana, te wairua. I te ara tākatu, koe rā e rongo, whakaria aki ki runga. Kia wātia, ai rā, kua wātia.
I declare the meeting closed at